Hi folks, and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here with this 2014 Mazda 3 and I'm going to show you how to correctly and safely change a tyre on this vehicle. So the first thing that you want to do is to make sure the car's actually on a level surface. Obviously I'm in an ideal location here in my garage, but that's not always the case. Next, you want to make sure that the handbrake is firmly on and that the car is in park or first gear if it's a manual. Now let's imagine this right rear wheel is flat. If you can, find a couple of bits of blocks of wood or stones just to chock the front wheel, just for additional safety. So in the boot compartment, you'll find all of the tools and the spare wheel in this little compartment to the side. So you just turn that little knob there. You'll find the jack, and you can remove the jack by turning that T-style bolt there. The clip comes out, and then the jack comes out like that. Then under this mat, you'll find the spare wheel and the rest of the tools. So we're going to need this piece here, as well as this piece over here, which is actually the wrench. And to get the spare wheel out, you undo this retaining bolt there, just like that. And then with that removed, you can lift this spare wheel out. We actually don't have a flat tyre, so we won't go through the process of actually putting that on, but that's how you get that out and put that onto the vehicle. So the next thing we want to do is to take the cover off of the wheel, the plastic wheel trim cover, and we just use this tool and get it off like that. Now before we jack up the car, what we want to do is to actually loosen all of the wheel nuts just a fraction. As you can see, I'm just loosening them off just a fraction there. Like that. Now we need to locate the position to put the jack, and as we run along the side, we can see on the seam there's actually two lines at the rear along this seam here, and also at the front there'll be another spot with two lines as well. You can see right here there's the line there and there's the line there, so that's clearly the front jacking point for the vehicle, but we're on the rear, so we'll come to the rear jacking point in here. And so what we do is we place the jack in there and we just wind it up like this, just by hand to start with. I can see the jack's going up there. As we're getting closer, just slide that jack into spot. And as you can see, it's just coming up nicely there between those two lines. So with the jack in position like that, we then use our two tools like this, and we can turn and wind the jack up until the wheel comes off the ground. So as you can see here, we've lifted the vehicle to the point where that wheel has come off the ground. So with the wheel off the ground, we then use the wheel wrench portion of our tools to loosen the nuts off fully and to take those nuts off. And once you get to this point, you should be able to unthread them by hand. And just put those nuts to one side. Okay, then we simply lift carefully the tyre off without causing any damage to those threads. So we roll away the flat wheel and then we roll back in the spare wheel. And we simply need to carefully lift this into position. Now at this point in time, this is the most vulnerable situation with the car on the jack. So we never want to put our hand or feet anywhere where the car could fall on them. So we don't put our hand in the top and we don't put our limbs underneath the car. Take the wheel from each side and lift it on. Just like that. And then we can put the nuts back on. Now at this point, I like to just tighten them by hand just like this, just quickly. You can see I'm already using a pattern where I'm missing every other nut as I come around this 5-stud pattern, and that's just to get an even amount of torsion onto those nuts straight away. Alright, so with that, we're going to lower the car off the jack. So we put our tool back on the other tyre lever tool and unwind the jack. Now once we get to the point where there's a fair amount of pressure on the tyre, we then complete the tightening process of all the lug nuts. And as you can see, I'm missing every other nut as I'm going around the pattern, just like I did before, so that we pull the tyre on evenly. And then we take the jack out all the way, and we are done. We can put the jack, the tools, and the tyre that came off the car away in the boot. So the tools and the flat tyre put in the boot where they came from. It's time to put this trim back on. Now I'll just show you, there's actually a little notch that's cut out for the valve stem. So we need to line that up here so we don't pinch that valve stem at all. Simply then hold that with one hand and just push that on all the way. So finally, if you did put chocks on another wheel like I recommended, don't forget to remove those chocks. There you go, folks. That's how to safely change a wheel on your Mazda 3. And if you have liked this video, do remember to like this video. In the future, if you're interested in any other maintenance or servicing videos on the Mazda 3, or in fact any of my other vehicles, the Audi or the Mercedes, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. But until next time, have a good evening.